How's it going, everyone? This is Jake Molinaro here, also known as Jake0406. And last weekend, I have went to Anime Magic 2025. Now, as I promised in my last update video, I mentioned that if we hit 10 likes or more, that I'll basically be taking a video on Anime Magic. And as far as I can see, I gotten 10 likes on it, which means that I will basically be doing a recap video about this topic in hand. Now you guys might be asking, why don't you just vlog the entire thing? And that's simply because I'm not comfortable with filming in public spaces yet, nor am I comfortable at vlogging at convention centers. So that is the main reason why I'm doing it in the first place. And I apologize for keeping you guys waiting for so long, but the event ended last weekend, and so now would be the perfect time to basically give you my general thoughts, as well as, the vibe that I've gotten from coming in all 3 days. Because I have gotten the 3-day badge, which means that yes, I have actually attended there for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So, to get us started with this, is that on Friday afternoon, because my girlfriend actually went to work that day and she didn't want to rush herself when she gets back there, so I basically waited for an extra hour just for her to dress up as Kumi-san from Kumi Can Communicate, which, by the way, my girlfriend looks very adorable in that cosplay. I just want to point that out because, again, she had work, and I basically just waited for her. Since I had a day off, I decided that I want to actually dress up as Mega Man and to just sort of get comfortable in moving around with the costume. And let me tell you, it felt awkward. It really felt awkward, especially with the boobs accessories, I believe. Now that is generally something that I am still trying to get the hang of. It just, how the costume shoe goes, right? The shoe basically just sort of I don't know, it just sort of slips out and then it just shows your actual gym shoe or whatever shoe you're wearing. That just feels very awkward to just, rearrange itself back on there. And that is just oh my gosh, why does it keep falling off like that? And it's been more or less like that throughout the entire weekend, which is to say that that's probably the worst part about it, aside from one other thing which I'll get to later. So I basically just picked her up and I filled up some gas, of course, because trust me, we are gonna need it. And then we headed over to the parking lot and we walked all the way over from the one side of the building to the other side. And let me just say, I love the view of all these buildings that we see out the window. It's just so mesmerizing. I just love the captivating view. So anyways, me and Christina went over to the other side of the Regency Hotel and basically just found some key-worthy items for us to actually take a look at. For example, this Smash Ultimate picture right here with Sora, the Mega Man, any of these characters that you basically see here. I love that sort of fan art. And if Heyo Ivan is watching this, which I bet he is, by the way, then I just have to show him some freelance stuff. Me and him have been binge watching that stuff on our laptops on the Discord server. And needless to say, whenever I see something like this, I just have to take a picture of it and then just post a little video. It's basically the right thing for me to do for him, since his cat basically has a back injury. And that's another thing I want to discuss real quickly. He was originally gonna be here on Anime Magic with me, but because of how his cat got injured and he has to pay all these sort of expenses towards his cat feeling better, he unfortunately couldn't make it. So I wanted to basically tell him that I do respect your decision, Ivan, and I'm happy that your cat is feeling all better, and I'm hoping that you feel better as well, and I just want to make sure that everything in your end is okay. So anyways, me and Christina went through a bunch of different booths, like I mentioned before, and a couple hours later we got something to eat, which is a pizza, and it's a really delicious pizza at that. So after that said pizza, we then head over back to the other side of the convention, which is at the Hotel O'Hare Regency, I think it's called. And then we went over to one panel, which is talking about ice cream and its 3 members. So if you guys have watched my TikToks or have basically watched my social media videos about it, you exactly know what I'm talking about. So afterwards, we headed back home and then we rest up for the next day, which is Saturday, which, by the way, of all the days in Anime Magic, it is by far the most activity-filled day out there. Because not only are there more panels for you to actually go onto, but then there's also like a gaming tournament that I have not known about until the day that they hosted it, which that's the worst thing that I was gonna talk about too. I didn't even mention up until this point because Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is a game that I played competitively before, okay? You know that, I know that, a lot of people on my Twitter feed has known that, a lot of people on my social media sites have basically known that. So, I don't know if it was just a tournament that you could just sign up casually without having to pay or anything, because I have not asked the TO about it, but you know, it would have been perfect for me to just pick Mega Man as I dressed up as Mega Man. You know, I mean, look at this. It would have been such a perfect opportune time to do it. But no, instead I basically just played a couple rounds of friendlies with me, Hank Jr. and Christy Dance Valenzuela. Which, speaking of, Hank Jr. basically decided to join us for 2 days as a VIP guest in both Saturday and Sunday. Now he's a really good addition to this entire community because me, him, and my girlfriend have actually taken pictures in like some very good camera angles, and the poses that we do on these pictures, let me tell you, some of them can go very, very hard. Especially this picture, which I came up with myself. It is literally me just standing, towering over Henry, just begging on his knees for mercy, like for forgiveness. This is essentially like the classic Mega Man pose that basically just sort of happens when Dr. Wily just was defeated and then he asked for forgiveness. It was perfect. I just did not think of a better time to put it up than that. So, Hank Jr., if you are watching this, I thank you for actually showing off the photos to your Instagram account. I'll leave his Instagram in the description down below, so then that way you guys can check and follow him out. And also, just real quick, I just love it whenever he plays video games and then he just sort of like, you know, acts in some way, to say the least. It's funny. I'm sorry, Henry, that I have to include it, but I just thought it was a really funny thing for me to record, you know? It's for the content. Okay? I love you.